The heart of our unfolding season is this incredible decade festival, surveying the years 1820 to 1830, during which arguably one could say the greatest music ever composed was written by Beethoven, Schubert, and Mendelssohn. Schubert entered the decade at age 23, Mendelssohn entered the decade at age 11, and Beethoven entered it at age 50. In the early part of this series, the very first concert, we'll have one of the late great piano sonatas of Beethoven, some of the most important works ever created. We'll also have the very extraordinary Arpeggione Sonata by Franz Schubert, written for this odd instrument with 6 strings, but now played on the cello. And we'll have an early work of Mendelssohn. Mendelssohn was, of course, only in his teens, but he created incredible music in his teens. And this A major quintet on the first program is one of them. A delightful, deep, and very, very satisfying and exciting work. Then continuing with Mendelssohn in the Beethoven Reflected program, we'll have a combination of works that I've never heard or presented on a stage anywhere before. It is Mendelssohn's Opus 13 Quartet, which is the first serious quartet that he wrote, which is modeled after 2 great Beethoven quartets, Beethoven's Opus 132 Quartet and Beethoven's Opus 95 Quartet. So we'll present these 3 quartets together for the first time that I've ever seen. It's going to be extraordinary to hear. The next program, which is these extraordinary octets, is probably 2 of the greatest and most popular chamber music pieces ever composed. Mendelssohn's octet, composed when he was 16 for double string quartet, is one of the greatest and most popular chamber music pieces of all time. And Schubert's octet, for a mixture of strings and winds, is one of the most sublime, beautiful, and beloved works in the entire chamber music literature. And for the final concert of the series, titled Transcendence, we'll have great works of Beethoven and Schubert. Schubert's quintet for string quartet with extra cello was pretty much the last piece he wrote. He never heard it performed, but it is one of the most sublime and most beloved pieces of chamber music in the entire literature. And Beethoven's Quartet Opus 135 was the last full work that he completed, and in it he looks forward, asking the question, must it be, in the last movement, and answering in the affirmative, yes, it must be. And on that affirmative note, we will close this extraordinary series which deals with this immortal decade.